Good morning, Janice.
Hi, Anthony. How are you doing?
I'm well. Let's talk about this article from realestatemortgageblog.com written by Mr. Luke Scar. And the title is Five Colossal Mistakes First-Time Homebuyers Make. What did you think of this one, Janice?
It's really good information, quick read, and it's all really important stuff.
And we're staying on the topic of home buying, of course, because I think next week I'll be launching or publishing my self-published book, How to Buy Your Perfect First Home, a home buyer's guide. And hopefully people will find that useful.
I was lucky enough to receive a first copy. I think it's really cool. It's great. It's like a one-stop shopping for your first-time home buy experience. So I'm looking forward to other people reading it too. That in this situation, it's going to be pretty great.
Cool. Let's get started with the five colossal mistakes first-time home buyers make. Janice, would you start with number one?
Absolutely. Finding a home before getting pre-approved. It's exciting. You want to find a home. You're going out, you're looking, you see one you really like, and oh no, you can't get the approval. That's a really big one. You should have all your ducks in a row before going out, because if you think about what everyone has to go through to prep the house and to have you go through and look at it and get excited, you kind of skipped a couple of steps first. So it's definitely, like you said, first, get pre-approved.
Also the sellers might not take you seriously if you don't have your pre-approval lined up. They'll know, or their brokers will know, that you won't be able to pull the trigger on an offer even if you wanted to. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. Number two, do not use all your money on down payment. We've talked about this in the past. You might think, rule of thumb, they mentioned 5% as a down payment here, but I think the more traditional number is 20% as a down payment. But that's not exactly the only number you need to think about. So let's say 20% is your number, and you have, let's say, $100,000 in the bank. So that would impute a $500,000 purchase price that you're looking at, but not quite, because that would leave you with an absolute zero in your account.
Right.
You need to account for other things such as closing costs. What are some other things, Janice?
Some eventual repairs, maintenance. You just take into consideration the escrow.
Moving.
You have taxes. So it's more than just that initial down payment.
And moving costs as well, yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
And even if you have all those, add those up and you have money for those items that we just mentioned, the bank doesn't want to see a zero after that either. They want to see some buffer.
No, I personally don't want to see a zero either in the bank account, because you have to eat, you have groceries. There's so much other things you have to plan to have more than just what you need.
Right on. Cool. Moving on to number three, Janice.
Same, almost exactly the same as before. Buying a home is so much more than the monthly payment. So I think we've talked about this before. You have the down payment, but there's more than just that monthly payment. Let's say your monthly payment is $1,000. Wouldn't that be nice? But you have so much more than that. You could have a homeowners association. You have higher utility costs. There's a lot more that goes into it that you have to factor in. Are you going from a twin to a single? That's a huge jump when you're talking about electricity, because you have maybe more square footage, maybe less. That's stuff that you have to take into consideration when you are planning your monthly payment.
So the way I read this paragraph in the article was that, the author seemed to mean that monthly payment meant your mortgage payment, but you need to take into account all those other bills that come with home ownership, sort of as you touched on. So yeah, just make sure you're adding up, like you said, taxes, in some cases water, homeowners associations, just everything. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. It's definitely going to be more than you think when you get that initial number. You have to consider everything.
Cool. Number four, do not add new debt after getting pre-approved. Actually, Janice, would you take this one?
Absolutely. We have talked about this so many times. When you get your pre-approval, it is for that moment in time. So you have it, leave everything alone. You don't want to buy a car. You don't want to go get your new furniture, because you're excited. You go to the local store and you finance it. Well, that's bad, because now your debt income ratio is now different. And the moral of the story is it says only apply for new debt after you've moved in the home. So when you get that pre-approval, leave everything as it is, freeze it in time, And then after you're in, after everything's finished, then get excited. And if you have the money, go do the furniture. But you have to leave it as it is.
On a related note, this isn't debt, but also try not to change jobs during this pre-approval process.
Ah, yes.
If your pre-approval is sort of based on your W-2s from last year, your taxable reported income, and you change jobs, now there's going to be question marks. And I might not throw a monkey wrench into the setup, but it creates complications for sure.
You don't want to take that risk once you've gotten pre-approved, because that's not an easy process.
I mean, if you have a great job and it behooves you to switch, then you got to do what you got to do. But if it's avoidable, try to avoid it.
Yes, exactly.
Number 5, do not try, and this is the last of the 5 colossal mistakes first-time homebuyers make. Do not try to save pennies by doing everything yourself. Janice, why don't you take this one, please?
I agree with this one, and I've said this many times. Of course, online, you can learn anything you'd like to learn. However, in situations like this, it is important to use a professional. Get the help of a real estate agent. And this isn't something you want to do on your own. Could you? Maybe. But with the negotiations and everything else, it's so important to have a professional. It's just really important because this is what you do for your career. You know the ins and outs and how everything's supposed to go. And it's just important to use somebody who knows really what they're doing.
What is that saying? Penny wise, pound foolish. I mean,
yes, right.
You may think you're saving a couple of bucks, or even a lot of bucks. I mean, real estate brokers earn a percentage of the sale, so those can actually be large dollar amounts. But often, in terms of the amount they save you by negotiating you a great price, or on the other side, getting you the best possible price for you, they often earn their keep. There's a reason why this industry exists.
Oh, absolutely. And just their knowledge alone is worth it. There are some things throughout the process you may skip right over if you're doing it yourself that you will regret later down the road. It comes into the whole home inspection. You can't skip that. You have to talk with somebody about that. So it's really important. Just hire a professional. I
mean, that's a great example. The home inspection, I don't know how much it costs where you are, but it would be maybe $400 or $500 here in the city or in this surrounding Manhattan area. And that could reveal like a $20,000 issue,
Right. That's what I mean. Down the road, if you didn't do that and you realize you need a new roof 2 weeks later, that's a big deal.
Okay. That's all I have, Janice. Again, thank you to Luke Scar and the Mortgage Realty or Real Estate Mortgage blog. Otherwise, we'll talk again later. Thanks, Janice.
All right. Talk soon.